All right, folks, you're watching our live Q&A here on the Cowboys Report. I am your host, Tom Downey. If we don't get to your question, well, feel free to tweet me at WhatGoingDowney, and we'll make up for it there. But remember to use hashtag Cowboys to get your questions on your show. That helps producer Alicia, when she's not getting fooled by an Eddie Murphy character, to get your questions up on screen. So again, make sure you're using that hashtag Cowboys in the comments section. From Roy Jones, does Garrett survive after this season? Depends on what happens, right? If the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, guess what? Jason Garrett's here forever. If they miss the playoffs, he's gone. So I guess check in with me after the year, or maybe like week 15 we'll have a better feel there. All right, Young Broker, if Tyron Smith continues to be plagued by injuries, do you see one of our young guys taking his place or drafting a more prominent prospect? I mean, I don't know. I think we are so, I don't know why we're so quick to try and get rid of Tyron. He's still really good. I know he's missed 3 games each of the past 3 years, but he's 29 years old. I know the back has been a red flag. I don't think we need to suddenly try and say, oh, God, do we need to replace Tyron? That's not my focus on the offensive line. And if injuries happen, maybe it's Connor Williams. It's not. Maybe they draft somebody. I'm not panicking right now about Tyron Smith. Like, he's played 13 games past 3 years and then had missed 1 in his first 4 years. And I know the back's an issue, but I'm not as ready to be like, oh man, Tyron Smith freak out level. Like, my panic level for Tyron is like at a 3 right now. I'm not too concerned about it. All right, James Laws, will Allen Hurns be on the roster? Great question. The more I think about it, the more I think this truly is a Sean Lee scenario here. I don't know why you would bring back Allen Hurns at a $6.25 million cap hit. That doesn't make any sense for the Dallas Cowboys. He's going to be what? 2 to 3 catch guy per game at most with this offense? You're going to pay $6.25 million for that? That doesn't make any sense. So for the Cowboys, offer a pay cut, or I think you just cut him outright, unless that his contract, and no one knows about it, was guaranteed for injury, which I don't think it is, but that's the only scenario in which I see him back at that price tag. Demo95, will our new offense implement more RPO plays? I hope so. More play action, more RPOs. It works. And you've got an offense that is built to dominate with the RPO. I mean, we heard for last year, for months leading up, it was going to be a Dak-friendly offense. And then the offense didn't change. It was the same stuff we saw last year, and it didn't work out. So I do hope we see more RPOs because, frankly, it works in the NFL. Makes sense. All right, Jordan Thomas, with the injuries in the secondary, does the thought of trading one of the corners go out the window? What about trading one away and signing Morris Claiborne? I did see several comments, by the way, about Morris Claiborne, which I find fascinating because you mentioned it before and you guys didn't always like it. I mean, obviously, Byron's banged up. Cheeto's a little bit banged up. I don't think, regardless, even with the injury, before the injuries, it was never going to be a, let's trade somebody away in July. And that was never going to be the outcome. It was going to be a, let's see how Michael Jackson, how Jordan Lewis, how Chris Westry, Alumba as well, all grow and develop in preseason. And if we have a glut, like they kind of felt they had last year when they dealt away Travarius Ward, of course, that Cowboys lost that trade big time, then maybe they change their plan and deal somebody. I don't know if they want to have Morris Claiborne back on the roster, quite simply. All right, now I know you guys like the Cowboys Report because you're watching it right now, so make sure you're subscribed. The link is below there. You can just hit the big red button because, of course, you're watching it right now on YouTube. We know a lot of people here actually watch the show but aren't subscribed, which is kind of weird to me. So if you like the Cowboys, well, go subscribe to us here on the Cowboys Report. By the way, fun fact, it's been almost a year to the day since our first Cowboys Report YouTube channel started up. So fun fact there. All right, Candy Pena, will we see packages with Zeke and Pollard on the field together? I think it's a possibility. I think that makes sense for the Cowboys. Pollard is such a dynamic weapon that you can bring them both out. Maybe you run one of my go-to plays. It's a video game, but it still counts. NCAA 14, shotgun split, triple option. In the red zone. I think it's a fine idea there. All right. Brandon Bradberry, I gotta be honest, I have no idea what you're talking about. I saw you post this in there earlier. Heard any more news on a Minkah trade? The first Minkah I think of is Minkah Fitzpatrick. If I'm missing somebody, I guess let me know in the comment section, Brandon, or somebody else. But The Dolphins aren't trading him. So there's no news, there's no rumors that aren't fake about that. Minkah Fitzpatrick is not coming to Dallas. The Dolphins don't have much young talent. They're not just going to give it away. All right, from Zach, is Aloka that bad or is Heath improved that much? The answer is neither. I hope Heath improved, but the answer is neither here. It is June, guys. Aloka has not fully implemented into the defense yet. That's going to take some time there. Heath knows the scheme, and remember, OTAs, for a big part of it, it's about implementing and installing, especially on the offense and defense, some of the new stuff there. So if you're installing stuff, well, Heath already knows it. That's one less thing you have to worry about during OTAs. So it's not that Aloka's been a disaster and he's going to get cut tomorrow. It's that it's June. It's super early. So don't panic on anything you hear about OTAs. We've got months before the year begins. All right, Marvin Fulks, do you honestly think the Rico Gathers experience is over? I mean, it's not technically over yet because we still have training camp. Maybe Rico takes a big step forward, but I mean, it hasn't worked yet. I know it was a make or break year last year. He hung around the roster, didn't get much of a chance, but there were practices which Rico didn't do a whole lot of impact there either. And when he got the ball in the game, he dropped it against the Rams. So I think it's close to being over, but it's not dead yet. Maybe it's on life support. All right, from Nini, I know it's early, but who do you think is more likely to make the roster? Su'a-Filo, Looney, or neither? I think it's Joe Looney by far, actually. Because Su'a-Filo is a guard. Looney has center guard flex, and if for whatever reason Frederick gets hurt or is slow to come back, Looney is the center. So I think Looney is by far the most likely player to make that roster compared to Xavier Su'a-Filo. All right, from Ken Bradshaw on Facebook, why should we believe the stale offense from last year will be better with the new OC Kellen Moore this year? That is a great question. At any level, really, you're kind of going more on faith and hope there because we haven't seen it from Kellen Moore. Now, we can base a little bit off of OTAs and the promises, but really you're going to go with at least for me, the belief it'll be better because in terms of play calling, you really couldn't have gotten much worse in terms of listening to the players and being more willing to make changes. So it's good to have skepticism here because it is so early. It's June. We don't know what Kellen Moore is. It's very much a wild card. But at some level, the lure of the unknown is always more intriguing than the known, which was bad of Scott Linehan. All right, folks. Now, I know the answer here is going to be C for the Cowboys. But which fan base is better? Let me know, and then back it up. Because on Thursday, we're going to have a little crossover episode, Cowboys versus the Raiders, so you guys had better bring it. Same time as always, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Cowboys versus the Raiders. So Super and Tim and Fernando and Matthew and all you guys in the comment section, Cowboys versus Raiders crossover Super Show. You guys lead the way, so you better bring it and bring your arguments and be loud in the comment section for that crossover show. All right, Kameron Doyle, one surprise roster cut if you had to choose. Okay. Does Tavon Austin count as a surprise? I'm asking seriously, does it count as a surprise? If so, then I might go with him. Not much guaranteed. The Cowboys have receiver depth, and Tony Pollard, by the way, can do a lot of the same things that Tavon Austin can do. All right, from M. Hightower, M. Night Shyamalan, I assume. Do you think Dallas drafted Michael Jackson to replace Byron Jones in 2020? I don't know if it was particularly set up for a Byron Jones situation, but it was set up for Jackson to replace somebody. Because Anthony Brown is going to be a free agent after this year, so too is Byron. And then next year, Cheeto and Jordan Lewis hit the open market. So at some point, you need to replace somebody in 2020. And the Cowboys have used Jackson some as an inside player, or as a nickel corner. So to replace somebody, yes. I don't know if it's Byron Jones, though. All right, Tim Gardner, who will be the starting 5 linemen and what will be Jason Witten's role? Also, will Zeke be suspended? So the old triple question here, Tim. I like it. Maximizing your chance there. You got 4 locks. It's Lael Collins, Zach Martin, Frederick if he's healthy, and Tyron Smith. I think Sewell over Connor McGovern, but let's see how things develop there. Witten's role, I think he's going to be a lesser version of what we saw in 2017 in terms of snap counts. He's going to start. He's going to be involved in the red zone. The Cowboys gave him 25 snaps per game. I think it's going to be over. And then in terms of Zeke being suspended, no update on that front. There's a chance. I think no, but I will not rule it out knowing the NFL and how they operate. Luis Hernandez, would the tight end position be okay if James Hanna and Gavin Escobar were still here, but they weren't good? So, like, what's the difference between Schultz and Jarwin and Hanna and Escobar? I honestly think I'd prefer Schultz and Jarwin right now than Hanna and Escobar. Like, those guys didn't make an impact, so I don't think it would be okay at all. It'd be in the same situation there. Fernando Gonzalez, what's a realistic cornerback for the Cowboys in the draft next year? Good question. I don't think he's there. I'd love it if he was, but I think Bryce Hall out of Virginia would be fantastic. It really depends on how early you want to draft one. Obviously, it's still very early in the whole pre-draft process. Trevon Diggs out of Bama kind of fits the mold of what Chris Richard likes in his cornerbacks, and those are just some seniors there. Underclassmen types. Stanford Samuels, I don't know if he comes out. Jeffrey Okudah out of Ohio State. It's still pretty early there. I would love Christian Fulton, who isn't the biggest guy, but he's a great corner at LSU. If you want to find maybe a bit of a longer nickel, I think Lavert Hill could fit that role out of Michigan. Still early, so in terms of quarterbacks, in particular, let's check in and see what happens with Byron Jones and Anthony Brown in free agency. Jordan Thomas, there was a lot of hype around Cedric Wilson last year. I've heard nothing this year. What do you think of him? I liked him coming out. I think I had a 5th round grade. I'll go double check my rankings right now, but I liked him coming out. I thought he was a talented player who offers some inside-outside flex. I thought was best as an outside vertical threat. That's how he was kind of used at Boise State. It has been quiet around Wilson. I think because he was hurt, he's still kind of playing catch-up in terms of acclimating back to the offense there. But I think there's some ability there, and I think he'd be a good player. Checking, I did have a 5th round grade on Cedric Wilson, by the way. So I liked him coming out. I think he's a real chance to make the roster. Anthony Meatball, what receiver besides Group will have a breakout year for the Cowboys? Gallup, I think is the most likely option there. I think Gallup is the pick, frankly, even maybe more so than Cooper, because Cooper was so great last year. Gallup take that big next step forward. All right, from Sunny Rivers, receiving core is greatly improved from last year, especially if you include the start. Where do they rank as a group? Because of the uncertainty around Randall Cobb being healthy, and if you include tight ends as the receiving core, I think you're probably around the average to below average area. And with as much as the Cowboys want to run in terms of total yards and whatever, that might be a little bit to average there too. But last year I thought they were one of the worst 5 in the NFL entering the season. That's not the case this year. I think they're in that 20, maybe 15 to 20 range overall. All right, Val Castillo, how much 4-2-5 will we see this year, i.e. nickel packages? A lot of it. That's kind of the base package, so assume 60+%. I have the numbers saved somewhere on what the Cowboys ran in terms of nickel formation, but 60% is going to be kind of your baseline, if not more so, in today's NFL. Tim Gardner, who will be Sean Lee's replacement? Oh, you're killing me, Tim. And who will fill in for him when he gets hurt? Some combination of the backup guys. You'll see some Joe Thomas, some Christian Covington. Maybe you'll see some Justin March Lillard. But in reality, it's not that many snaps they need to replace. It'd be probably under 20, 25, somewhere in that range. So in the end, in terms of nickel packages, like we just mentioned, doesn't matter. It's Jalen and LV for the most part there. Terence Merritt, does Dak show improvement in throwing the long ball? That's been the buzz out of OTAs, so I do think so. And I think, the numbers were actually not that bad for Dak last year. Let's not forget or act like it was bad last year. The numbers were actually pretty darn good for Dak. At least they were average relative to the rest of the NFL. And if he can connect on just 1 or 2 more with Gallup, all of a sudden those numbers are really good. So I do think you'll see a better Dak this year with the long ball. And most importantly, you'll see more chances for Dak to be good with that long ball. I think that's a key part of this new Kellen Moore offense. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.